Now I'm going to run through the staking real quick with you guys. It's just a brief synopsis of where we are at with the horse's affection. We're probably going to stake her to Pennsylvania mostly. She's looking at her first start being likely the Weiss, April, the first part of April. Follow that up with some PA races, Courier and Ives likely. We're going to keep her eligible to Kentucky, although as you know, last year we'd put her on Lasix. She was much better after Lasix. Is she going to be able to come off Lasix to race in Kentucky? To me, that's a stretch, but it is always a possibility, and it's probably best to leave that door open, and I think that's exactly what we are going to do with affection. Allie's got grit, will just be Illinois. Arrowhead Hanover, this is perfect. This is like an Austral Hanover 2.0. I hope speed-wise, because he was a really nice colt, but just Pennsylvania for this guy. There's no rush to go anywhere else with him. We have the Arden, which he's going to race in easily, and then towards the end of the season, obviously, you have the Keystone Classic, the Simpson, the Liberty Bell, those types of things, but that's probably what we're going to do with Arrowhead Hanover. Arson, this one's a tricky one. We're probably going to leave him paid into Pennsylvania and Kentucky. So here's the thinking behind them both. We're likely leaning towards do exactly what we did last year. Go to Oak Grove, stay for Lexington, and then Corbin. Now in between, a lot of people own this horse that love the Little Brown Jug. This horse is fast, quick, small, doesn't wear any boots at all, or any poles for that matter. If my memory serves me, maybe a line pole, but built for a half. So we are going to keep him eligible to the Little Brown Jug. I'm not that interested. Again, we made all that money and did so good with him, just kind of hiding him away last year, keeping him away from the main crowd. So we're not looking at the North American Cup or the Sun Beach somewhere, or the Meadowlands Pace, but we are looking for places that might tilt a smaller, medium-sized horse, tilt the race to their advantage, which would be a half-mile track, like the Little Brown Jug. So that's what we are looking at with him. The Adios, I toyed with that idea, but then again, it is no, we can't make that. Actually, I was wrong. The 14th is in Oak Grove. The final in Oak Grove is on the 14th, and 6 days later to the Adios. So then you're going 6 days later to the Adios, 7 days if you make the final, and then right back to Kentucky. Likely not. We're likely not going to, although it's one payment of $600. So that's one little item we have to clean up with the Arson group. Somebody said, well, the Max Hemp, we're not going anywhere near the Max Hemp. We're staying in Kentucky for the whole summer. I'm not super worried about the Bluegrass. Again, there's going to be a ton of horses. Last year it went 47-3 and went for $73,000. We're probably going to stay away from the Bluegrass and those types of stakes. And then, we can entertain the Breeders' Crown if possible. If you'd like to, we can do that. And then obviously you have the end of the season. You have a number of things you can do. I would suggest maybe the Matron is a decent place to go. They went in 49 last year. Usually it's now last year you had the good horse Confederate in it, but you don't generally have the Confederates in it every year if my memory serves me. So you can go that direction, or you can go to Indiana, but I think there's a good path in here. Keep them eligible to Pennsylvania and Kentucky just in case, right? Those are first and foremost. Secondly, when it comes to this guy, I would lean, let me see, where were we starting here? He's not going to be eligible to the Weiss. The first start he could potentially have is the Paul Revere, which makes no sense because the first sire stake in Pennsylvania is at the Meadows. So his first start will likely be May 4th, maybe a tightener before that, but likely May 4th at the Meadows. Then you'll go skip the PA All-Stars. Don't need to go to the Poconos just yet for that. It's 7 days before, or we could, because it's 7 days before the second one. So theoretically, we could go first PA Sires or Stallion Series if we want in Pennsylvania. The All-Stars, torn on that one. And then the second Sire Stakes. Now, after the second Sire Stakes, you will have Oak Grove on the 24th of June. No, you can race in the third one. They have 3 Sire Stakes over before June. Pennsylvania is such a weird place. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it, but you have the First Sire Stakes is at the Meadows. The second one is the All-Stars, we might skip. Third race is the Poconos, which is the second division. Third division is in Philadelphia on the 26th, right? Then after that, you have the Northland Cup, no. Some Beach Somewhere, no. Messenger, no. You're looking at Oak Grove on June 24th. June 24th, after that, we stick right to Oak Grove. Second elimination is on July the 7th. Things start to slow a little bit now. And then the Oak Grove final is on July 14th. At that point, we probably just give them a little rest and wait for the Red Mile, as all we're missing at that point is the Adios, if that's what we want to do, which is we're likely going that way, but that's open for discussion. Then we stay in Kentucky with this guy straight through to the end. If we want to race in Pennsylvania, if he's had a decent season to date, he'll have enough points to race in the final or the consolation, I suppose, whichever way we want to go. And then after that, you're looking at the Little Brown Jug. Now, here's the tricky one. If we do go to Little Brown Jug, you can't race in the Kentucky Sires final. So what we may want to do is race in the Pennsylvania final if we have enough points, and then go to Little Brown Jug, because the Kentucky final will be out of our reach at that point. It's 4 days. The Kentucky final is either 2, 3, or 4 days, depending on which distinction we're in, before the Little Brown Jug. So food for thought there. And then after that, we have a myriad of places we can go. We can go to the Keystone Classic and places like that. I don't really have any interest in... The Reynolds is in Plain Ridge this year. That's quite the interesting thing. And then Corbin starts on October the 14th. So you finish off September the 28th. You could go to the Keystone Classic if you wanted to. Or you could go wherever you want. You have the Little Brown Jug is on the 19th. You could go the Keystone Classic, again, trying to off the beaten path a little bit, and then down to Corbin to finish off the fall for the most part. So Arson, you can see why it's complicated. There's a lot of different ways to go there. Aunt Lily, these Ohio horses are simple. Ohio, that's where they're going. Baby Zet, Stallion Series, and Sire Stakes for her, that's it. Maybe the Fairs also. When do you got to pay that one? For Baby Zet. Maybe she's not eligible to the Fairs. Why wouldn't she be eligible to the Fairs? Oh, that's weird. Anyway, she'll be staked in Pennsylvania. Blanton's Blue would just be New York. There's more than enough New York races there to be going on, straying off all the places. Where are we going to go? You're not going to the Yonkers Trot. You're not going to the Zwag. You're not going to the Stanley Dancer with this horse. He's just staying in New York. Blue Ventura, Pennsylvania. We can talk about other stuff with this guy a little bit, but nothing is due this month. We're not going to the Nassauguay or the Kindergarten, stuff like that, the Metro. You could be talked into easily going to the Matron and things like that in and around Pennsylvania, but we're not straying too far for this guy. Bluebird Tuxedo Hill, Ohio, for him, for sure. Born to Dance, just Ohio again with this guy. These are easy. Cadoo, Ohio. Captain Incredible, a little more difficult, but again, this month, not super difficult. We're going to stay in Pennsylvania. He is Pennsylvania and Kentucky, much like Arson was as a 2-year-old. So what do you want on top of that? No for the Kindergarten, no for the Nassauguay. We don't need to go that way yet. We can keep him paid into things that we start next month and give him the month to pick it up and show us what he needs to do. But for the most part, you're looking at Kentucky and Pennsylvania for him. Some stuff towards the end of the year also. And again, if his breeding shows up and this is the horse we expect him to be and he is, I guess we can pay him and continue to pay him into the Breeders' Crown also. That makes all the sense in the world to me. Century Legion, Ontario, yes, for the Wellwood, probably good looking flashy colt that he is. Likely Ontario, Wellwood for him, maybe the Champlain, but he's not leaving the country of Ontario. I just said that. Yeah, the country of Ontario. The country of Canada, the province of Ontario, for the 2024 season. Chicago Hall, the exact same as that guy, 100% down the middle. Cleveland Masha will be paid likely into the Battle of the Bells and into the Quebec stuff later on. It makes more sense. Country Dancing, a little trickier here also. This filly is just Pennsylvania, no Kentucky there. So we're going straight Pennsylvania for her. Again, you're looking at the All-Stars. You're looking at where do we want to go otherwise? You don't want to start getting too deep on this filly. Keystone Classic. And again, another filly we could keep eligible to the Breeders' Crown if we wanted to. But I don't think there's a ton of stuff. Like no for the Kindergarten, right? That's a no. PA All-Stars, yes. We're not going into Canada, the When You Wish Upon a Star. She's not going to, as I said, the Kindergarten. Not worried about the Hoosier Stake. in Indiana. We're staying away from those. No for New Jersey. So that leaves... we could say yes to the Standardbred. That's in a nice spot in Delaware. Jug Week. 54-3. They went for $40,000 last year. It's a good spot for it potentially also. Anyway, things are there's lots of stuff for this filly, but again, I want to try and stay a little bit conservative with these horses for what is that? For obvious reasons. Oh my. For obvious reasons, stay a little bit conservative with these horses. Dancing by myself, Ohio. Dancing in my socks, Ohio. Did not know. Lightly staked in Pennsylvania. Don't talk about Bruno, Ontario. We'll pay him into that. Where is it? Where's that race? The Dream of Glory. No, I went in 57. It's 500. Ontario. Drebin. Another difficult one. I don't think we're going to take him. We could pay him into the Weiss. Got to pay him into the New Jersey Sires. I like the Courier and Ives also. Got to be careful when you're not staking a lot of these horses. If you plan on going to New Jersey, the middle of the summer is kind of missing, right? So do we stake him as if he's going to be a great horse? This is the same problem we have with Ready for Landing, right? What if he doesn't leave Ontario? What's that give us? Potentially, if he's good enough. The good times, it's a big stretch. Courier and Ives is over in the Meadows. I'm not going... Or you could leave him in New Jersey and go New Jersey Sires or New Jersey Sires and the Reynolds if you wanted. Tompkins Gears is there. They went in 51 last year. Hello. No Hambo for him. This is a guy that almost was on Lasix in his first qualifier. No Hambo for him. The Earl Beal, the Beal stake, possibly, yes. New Jersey Classic, if we're leaving him down there, possibly, yes. You go to the one in Freehold, although he's a big horse. I don't know if I want to do that. So again, you see the difficulties here that we have with this guy. This is the type of horse where you might just go easy through the summer, pick your spots, and then focus on Indiana at the end. Those are cool, those stakes. I mean, they don't go for a ton of money. The Star Destroyer, one division went for 60 and went in 52-2 over Indiana. Right, the Bally's, first year for the Bally's. The Thanksgiving, one for 58,000, it went in 53-4. These are things you can maybe look at also for Drebin towards the end of the year. And keep in mind, if they're very good 3-year-olds and they're going to attract some interest also, having them staked to things at the end of the year makes them worth a little more anyway. And all of a sudden, those stake payments, maybe not just painful, but might be an investment down the road. So I've always said that to people, and I think it's important to understand that. Easy in the turns, Ontario. Straight Ontario with this filly also. Electric Line will just be Ohio because we have to. Fire and Shine, Ohio. Straight down the road. Flash Vi will be just moderately in Pennsylvania. I think she's a nice filly, but we're not dragging her all over the place. I'm not paying her into the PA All-Stars, right? Courier and Ives will be a lot of fun. That's right at the Meadows. The Arden, right at the Meadows also. There's not a ton of stuff after that. You have the Keystone Classic, right? You have the Simpson. You have the Liberty Bell. Those things are all there. And if you want to pay her into those races at the end of the fall also, this is what we did with... Swinging Senorita last year also, right before Harrisburg. Can go down the same blueprint with this filly for the most part. Foxy Seaside will just be Ohio. Freedom Hill will just be Ohio. Gaslight Hall, just Ontario. George of the Jungle, just Ontario. Gorgeous Package, just Ontario. Grand Old Chap, little trickier. We're going to try Chap later on in the season. So we're going to look at definitely Massachusetts. The beauty about this guy is he's eligible to New York, Pennsylvania, and Kentucky. So you can look at like Corbin. Where is Massachusetts in proximity to Corbin? So the Mass final is on the 24th. The first leg is on the 13th. So that might be a little tricky. All that distance. You could simply race him in Massachusetts, finish out Massachusetts on the 24th, and then go to the second division. No, you can't do that. That's going to be tricky. Yeah, we'll figure that out along the way. Let's get him trotting first. That'll be fun. Grand Slam, they have Leo. Grand Slam Leo. Grand Slam Dio. Little trickier. You have Kentucky and New Jersey for this filly, so virtually the same as we had with Pickpocket last year. We likely may not even go to New Jersey at all with Grand Slam DOU. In fact, as I sit here right now in January, I'm more leaning towards Oak Grove will be her opening starts. We'll see. Great Bet, Ontario. Green Glitter will be Pennsylvania with a little more stuff splashed in there also. Nothing crazy, but I believe this is the right move for Green Glitter. Gymboree, love this Pennsylvania. I love this Kentucky. Oak Grove, Kentucky, straight through. You don't have to worry about anything. We'll probably pay her into some stuff later in the year. International Stallion might be one of them. Breeders' Crown, possibly. I love this filly. I think she's a really, really nice filly. Gypsy Hill, just Ohio. Easy peasy. Halley in the Clouds, Ontario. There's lots in Ontario for them also. He's a great guy. Ohio, High Hopes, Ohio. I don't play nice, Ohio. And I might look at one stake in October for this guy also. I really like this colt. I'm a Trucker is Michigan, obviously. I'm Fancy Like, Ohio. I'm Ready to Ohio. Insider Trading. This is another kind of in-between filly. Mostly Pennsylvania. We're going to stay around here. Yes, I'll pair into the PA All-Stars. Yes, we'll go to the Courier and Ives. The Arden for sure with her. Not the Hambo Oaks. Obviously not. Pennsylvania. Not going to the Elegant Image. We'll stay around for the Keystone Classic. And then again, we'll probably pair into the stuff in Indiana at the end of the season. International Spy, just Pennsylvania with this guy. He's eligible to Dale McConnell or whatever in March. That's likely where we'll start him. Right after that, we'll shoot him down for the Weiss, or we'll just stay at the Meadows for the Terry Altmaier, I assume it is. What do we got here for the Weiss? The Weiss final went in 58 and went for 50. It must have been muddy that day. The Terry Altmaier went in 54 for a little bit less. So again, we have our options there. And then we'll decide where we're going with this guy, but we'll have him paid into Pennsylvania. He is eligible to Kentucky, which we will keep him eligible to also. Irresistible Sun, Ohio. James Arthur, my father's horse. That'll be the Maritimes. Jayport Beach Boy, Ontario. JK Victory. Not a lot for this guy, really. The only one that jumps out is that Indiana Sires, right? The March 15th payment of $500 keeps him eligible, that 4-year-old race. I don't think we're going to be paying him into anything other than that. There's lots for him. And no, the Hoosier Park Derby, they went 47-3 last year. We're probably not going to go there. But we'll have him paid into everything else along the way. Or no, we'll have him paid into one stake and race him in everything else along the way. Leggy is Ohio. Lonely Lakewood, a little trickier there. We'll pay him into Kentucky and Pennsylvania. I don't know what the stipulations are on the Dale Mac, but he's got like 20-some thousand, and I think he's eligible to the Weiss. Yes, he's one win. So Lonely Lakewood will start his campaign in or around middle of March. Looks like Money was much trickier. I thought about this for 2 or 3 days, and I think we're going to stay in Canada with this guy. We're likely going to look for the Earl Rowe, potentially, the Maple Leaf Trot with him. If we're looking for the Maple Leaf Trot, he can sure as hell do in the Earl Rowe, and I can assure you of that. And then I was thinking maybe the Charlie Hill in September, shortly after the Maple Leaf Trot, 8 days after the Maple Leaf Trot, and then that'll be it for the Opens for him. Not going to the Dayton Derby, the Caesars, none of that crap. This horse is coming off an injury. If we have one good run in the summer, which would be the August run, August 11th, 23rd, 31st, and then 8 days later, the Charlie Hill, give him a short break and get him ready for the winter in Ontario. I think that's a much better play for Looks Like Money. Lover's Play, we'll pay her into New Jersey because that's what she's eligible to. Oh, she's eligible to Oak Grove also. She may find herself down there. So we'll pay her into both. I doubt you'll see her in New Jersey, but on the off chance she is good enough, we might. LT Troubadour, just Ohio. Manhattan Money, Pennsylvania. Not heavy. Like, we'll pay him into those like the Arden and stuff like that, but not heavy with him. Mel Gibbs Swan will be... Now, here's a trickier one. If Mel Gibbs Swan trains down great, and I mean great, you may see him in one of those non-winners of 2 series, and then the Bunker Hill, which leads into Indiana, I believe. timing will be everything with this guy. If he's what he's eligible for, we'll race him leading into Indiana. Make no mistake, he tried 54, 55 last year and made 90,000. If we want to, we can go to the Bunker Hill with Mel Gibson. Melisandre, this is a trickier one also. Not really. Kentucky all the way through. Where it ends up, we'll see. We're not going back to Canada for any of the Peaceful Way or anything like that. She's going to stay down there. We could possibly be induced into paying her into the Jim Doherty, but that is not going to happen because the Kentucky Sires final is 2 days later. So that made that easy. Memento Mori, straight New York, but we will have some other stuff for him, whether it be the Wellwood or the Houghton or the Breeders' Crown. We'll see what we're going to do with him. There, that's that. Yep. Where does this leave us here? Memory and Imagination, I believe his first start will be the Bunker Hill on May the 16th. Bunker Hill, first 2 sire stakes in Pennsylvania, and then off to Oak Grove, and that's the plan with him. Where he goes at the end of the year, we'll see. I don't see him leaving Kentucky to go